Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, information I've gathered today is from many different places and many different people. So if you hear yourself in our conversation today, please remember, it's not all about you. Today I'm going to tackle a subject that was brought up to me yesterday in a meeting that we were having at an entrepreneurial gathering. And here's what came out loud and clear. Do what you do best and farm out the rest. You see, as entrepreneurs, we oftentimes get so wrapped up in our thought process that we start to lose focus. And sometimes we get to a certain point and we get a new idea and we want to jump over there. And that's why it's so important to remember this one basic thing. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, those two things go together quite well. You see, one of the things we need to learn as we're building a corporation, we're building a company, building a family, we need to learn that we need other people around us. We need to know that we just can't do everything ourselves. Even if we know how to do everything, you just can't be everywhere and do everything all the time. Now, I wrote down some notes because I thought to myself, how do I explain this in a way that top leadership, like yourself, are really going to understand this? Well, I'm going to put it this way. I always have a team around me, and they're people who are quicker, faster, better at things that I am. Let's just take and say, well, my accountant. Well, sure, I could take and keep track of all those things on a spreadsheet and maybe do my own taxes and things, but am I the person that does that every single day? And have I kept up on all the different nuances that go on within that world? Well, the answer would be no. Same way with a lawyer. There's no way that I could know all the rules and all the different laws and all the different places that we might do business. I know that we live in Florida, and when we do business in Texas and we do business in Oklahoma, there are different laws there for speakers and instructors than there are here. So, I need a lawyer on my team. Now, an accountant and lawyer is not somebody that I'm going to have there all the time. They're going to come in and go out on the team when needed. That just seems to be making sense. Now, one of the things I learned early on, that even though I had a good accountant and I had a good bookkeeper and all those different parts and pieces, the thing that was missing over and over was a financial advisor. And those were people who kind of gave me advice on how that looked down the lane a little bit. Where do I need to put some money away for that long-term opportunity, both in business and in my personal world? So the financial advisor, yes, I keep them on tap all the time. That's just a part of my team. Now, for me, because my brain works like most entrepreneurial thinkers, I have more than one project going at any one time. So I need someone who I call my project manager. And they kind of make sure that I'm on task, doing what I need to do, and other people in the team doing what they need to do for each of the projects. And are we hitting them on time? Are we staying within budget? So that person is really an important part of our team. Now, they kind of come and go, and more come and stay because that's the kind of person I am. I need more than one person. Really, I need to keep me on track because I like to do many different things at many different times. Now, another person, two people I keep on my team, one for sales and one for marketing. You see, marketing is the how-to and the sales is get her done. Well, many times you need to understand those are two different things. The people who handle our websites and handle these videos and those kind of things, I have to tell you that they're just really, really smart. And I don't know how to do all those things. But I was at a lecture just yesterday, and this is where this came up. And a young man was putting on a wonderful learning opportunity about social marketing. And he went on how to take and use Facebook to do this and that, and how to use Twitter, and he really was very involved. And I thought to myself, boy, I could probably do some of those things. And then I thought, I could, but should I? You see, I started realizing after talking to him afterwards that the things that I could do on my own would take me 2 to 3 times longer to do them myself versus hire him to do that. And so as I was going through that process, I was talking to some other people around the table who were like myself. We had many different projects going, and there are all those things that he was talking about we could do or we could learn to do. But should we? And when I started really pounding it down to that last piece, it came down to, what is your time worth? And where should you be putting in that time? And of course, that led to that wonderful question of what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? And that roadmap that you hopefully have already put together. So after talking to this young man, I realized that hiring him was going to be the best thing for our company to do. Why? Well, first of all, he knows how to do it all. Second of all, his prices were well within line of our budget. Now, before I hired him, though, I have to tell you that what we did is I came back to the office, sat with the team, and said, a financial person, how's our budget? Talk to the accountant. Do we have what it takes coming in to pay what's going out? You see, this whole decision making had to come from the team, not just because I'm the owner and I make the rules. That's just not the way it's done. If you're a leader and you're running an organization and you're making all the decisions, well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Sooner or later, you're either going to get burnt out or you're going to get pushed out. One of the two are going to happen. The reason for that is the people that are working around you will soon realize that you don't trust them. You don't trust their ability. You don't trust their decision making. And so they're going to say, well, do I stay or do I go? Now, if you're paying them a great wage and have some great benefits, they might stay. But I don't think so. I think they'll find a way to go somewhere else where they feel needed and wanted and appreciated. And that's why I keep telling people that the team of an organization, the leadership team, needs to always have this congruent piece that runs through it. And that means communication that happens all the time. And so when I looked at the team, I thought to myself, man, that's a lot of people. How can we have them all on the payroll all at one time? Well, we don't. We use them as needed. We plug them in and plug them out and make it happen. The main people that are on my decision-making team, to be quite honest with you, are the people who work with me. My loving wife and the other people who are instructors here on the Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development. When we sit down and we think about this, we probably could have had one of the other instructors pick up the ball and go out and do all my social media for me. But that means I would have to take them off a platform, which would mean income not coming in. So you see, those decisions needed to be made by the whole team. Even though the one team member said, hey, Dick, I can do that. I said, well, can you do it as well as this other person? And what are you worth and what is it worth? So as we started to really pound down the numbers and pound down the time, of course, it came back to I'm really a better instructor than I am a social media expert. And you see how that came to the head. Now, when this young man was up talking, I have to tell you, there was a lot of enthusiasm and excitement that was coming from him going to the group. And you could see the group scribbling notes and everything else. And about after 10 minutes, And my mind was working. I can do this. I can find some. I just wrote down his phone number, his name, his phone number, his email, his website, and I continued to take some notes so I could relay it to the group. But really, that's about all I went to. You see, I had already made up my mind that I thought this is the way we should go. But I didn't seal the deal at that time. I went back to the group, went back to the team to ensure that this is where we wanted to go. Is this something we needed to do right now, or is this something we could do later on? And that's where this whole question comes down to. Just because you can doesn't mean you really should. And, of course, is do what you do best, farm out the rest. I know, and I found out many years ago, that my talents were speaking on stage and speaking here on the videos and on TV and radio. That was my talent. My talent was gathering the information about leadership and how to put it in today's life. That was my world. Those other parts and pieces, making the dates I was going to speak someplace, looking up information on a new book that I needed to write, maybe not. Maybe that was better done by someone else. But I do want to share this with you because I came across a really good guide that talks about, is this something you should do, or is this something someone else should do? It's a book called Flawless Execution by James D. Murphy. If you get the chance, pick this thing up, because I'll tell you what, this book will set you on your ear as far as how you run your organization. It'll give you a different way of thought process. Some of the things in here, I have to tell you, really changed the way I started to look at business and how to put it all together. He had a whole section in here that I talked about how to do briefs and debriefs, how to do the planning, and who does what, when, where, how. You see, that was really what this was all about. As the leader, what do you do best to take things where it needs to go? Do you have a roadmap? Did you work with a team? Or did you try to do it all by yourself? Now, I realize that in almost every small business that opens up, you're a person who has so many hats on, they won't all stay on your head at any one time. You truly try to do all your sales and marketing yourself. You truly try to do all your work on social media, and you try to do all the accounting, and you just work yourself to death. And then one day, I hope you wake up and say, the best thing I can do is bring on a coach. You see, I don't believe people understand the difference and what the difference of good, an excellent, a fantastic, a super duper business coach can help you with. First of all, I want you to know that a great coach doesn't know everything. That's really not their job. A great coach really believes you know, the leader, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and when, how to get it done. The difference is a great coach will work with you in a way that they'll ask you enough questions so you can answer them for yourself and start to put together a plan of action. Now, a good coach will also hold you accountable for those actions. But I'm going to tell you what, one of the first things my great coach taught me way back when, and I still use that same coach, by the way, was to take and build a team. He said that, you're good at what you do, but you're not good at everything that you could do. That started to really ring true. He said to me one day, he said, Dick, what you're really great at is building other people's companies. Not so good at building your own. He really had a smile on his face because he knew, and I knew, he was telling me the truth. And when he started asking me questions, I realized right then and then I need to do the same thing I was suggesting to other people, and that was build a team. You see, I love to speak on stage, and I love to take and do what I do here on the radio. But sometimes I'm not real good at making sure that my periods and punctuation are where they need to be. And sometimes my enunciation of a word just isn't correct. So I have someone here who helps me with that. I run everything by them first before we put it on air. And when I'm on stage, they get to rewrite almost everything that I do. It's still my ideas. It's still the one putting it out there. It's just they help me realign everything so it makes better sense to you, the leader who is listening. So when I say these words to you, just because you can does not mean you should. Don't get your back up. Don't say, I'm the boss, I can do it all. I'm saying a good leader will probably know little bits and pieces of those things that need to be done. And they'll know enough to know when things aren't being done. And they'll know to put enough metrics in each of those situations so they can follow up and make sure that we're on board and moving in the right direction. But every great leader I've ever met really surround themselves with other great leaders. They were all had their own specialties that they did best. Now, they all could probably fit into those other categories in a matter of time because they were the kind of people who would say, I don't know now, but I'm going to go learn. And that's good. What you're looking for here is a team that can surround you who will help you build your corporation, your company, to a place where you can make those other best decisions. So, where do you find these people? Well, our financial advisor, quite frankly, we interviewed several before we settled on one. And over the number of years, we've had more than one at any one time. And that's because we had different things we wanted to do with different parts of that money. Some was for business, some was for pleasure, some was for long-term retirement. And those are things you need to look at. Now, the financial advisor we have right now, he is a person who had worked on Wall Street and has a knowledge of how to build those three things together for us. So he's been doing it for us for a number of years now, and here's why we trust him so much. We look where his money is invested, and that's where ours is too. We know that that's something he spends every day doing. Now, I don't do that, so you need to make sure that you interview and you trust that person explicitly. Your lawyer, I'm going to tell you what. We use Legal Shield, and I'll say that quite frankly. We do because we have a lawyer on staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter where we're at. Now, that's a good thing for us because we're always on some different place. But you need to look at what you need and your needs, but have someone there that you're going to be able to turn to when you need them. Make sure someone's doing your books. That's not you. It needs to be someone, actually, we use someone who's not even in our company, not even associated with us. And we do that because it's an outside thing, and we never get ourselves in trouble. It's just a smart, different way of looking at things. Sales and marketing people, they seem to come on and leave and go and come and go, but it's funny because they normally want to come on and be on stage with me, and that's a good thing. And we bring them up as part of our leadership package. So it works out well for us. The project manager, well, she's my wife. She knows how my brain works. My brain works on 4 or 5 projects at any one time. Right now, I've got 3 books on the table and I'm writing all at the same time. And people always wonder how I do that, but that's how my world works. The difference is I know that once I type it all in, I hand it over to someone to make sure that the punctuation and everything else is set properly. Now, could I do that myself? Well, probably. But just because I can doesn't mean I should. You see, someone else knows all the different tricks of the trade to make sure it's set properly. And that is a big difference. So when we had this question come up, when this young man was speaking, I went to him afterwards. I said, you brought two things very, very clear, and I'm going to put them on the radio. And he said, well, I don't know what I made so clear. I said, well, the first thing you made clear was, just because I can doesn't mean I should. And the second thing you made so clear is, do what you do best and farm out the rest. He walked away, and then all of a sudden he came back. And he said to me, he said, well, that's not what I was trying to say at all. And I said, you know what? That made it even better. Because what you were telling people was, and you gave them a list of things they could do. But you were just smart enough not to give them the whole package. That if they really wanted to try to do it, they could probably learn over time, but they sure wouldn't have your expertise. You see, that in itself was your best marketing tool that I'd ever seen. We as leaders spend a whole lot of time looking into how to make our company grow and grow, or we should. Without a vision, your future picture, that everyone within the organization understands and can go by, and seek forwards. Here we use maps because I'm an outdoors guy and I like maps, and so we just put it on the map of where we want to go. Now, the mission of where you're going to go, the why you're going to do it, your purpose, your calling, is really bigger than that. And you need to put some time into that. So when you ask this question, just because I can, doesn't really mean I should. You need to look at the map. Where are you needed? What are you needed to do? And what are the steps that need to be done? That's your plan. And that day-to-day plan, so you can live out your mission and achieve your vision, really start to bring home this question. Do what you do best, farm out the rest. I came home yesterday and I spent some time going over my notes and with the group, and we actually went to the computer and looked at a lot of social media. And after about really 20 minutes, we all decided very quickly that we just really didn't know enough about what they were doing to make quality choices. But what we did know enough about was this wasn't something we should be spending our time doing. We decided that this is something we should put into our company right now. And we were going to hire this young man. So we did give him a call and set up a time to come in and sit down and look at the situation. We have found that over and over, when you have a team, you don't have to make those immediate decisions. We have found over and over that immediate decisions oftentimes get us in trouble, and we spend more money than we really should. And that makes our budget not right. And in our world, everything has to revolve around those budgets for each of our locations, each of our projects, each of the people who are working with us. So you can see, just because I can doesn't really mean I should, starts to really be a better question when you start looking at new things or different things or adding things to your company. And what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? Knowing your worth. So you see, these are huge questions. And when you're working with your team and asking those questions, I think you're going to find some better answers. If you're trying to do it all by yourself, well, good luck. Like I said, you'll either get burnt out or pushed out, because eventually you just can't do it by yourself, and it will show. And it might be time to go. Learn from those around you. Bring people in on your team that are quicker, faster, better than you are. Bring people on the team to do those specific tasks that need to be done. Bring in people who really know what you don't know. And be willing as a leader to say, I don't know what I don't know what I don't know. And then go find out. So what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? Where's that place on the map? What's that vision? What's it look like? Is it marked down? Are you willing to do what you need to do to get to where you want to go? Does that mean it's going to take patience or research or, spend a few dollars to bring someone in? Sometimes when you look at spending dollars, the few dollars that we spend to bring someone in to do a project, when you look at what time it would have taken us to do it, it's usually anywhere from 1/4 to 1/3 the cost of what it would be for us to do it ourselves. And when we're working on another project or we're out speaking on stage, that money coming in far outseeds the person who is sitting behind the computer making it happen. So you have to understand how all the parts and pieces of your organization works. Again, a team will take you farther than where you can go by yourself. So when you're asking yourself that question, is this something I should be doing? How much am I worth? Should I really take the time to learn to do this versus hiring someone to do it for us? What am I willing to do to get to where I want to go? You see, these are excellent questions that a coach is going to call you and talk to you about. Here again, a business coach is one of the best things you can add to your team. I've had a business coach for a number of years and has really made the difference between where other people are and where we are. And it's kept me on the right roadmap of where we wanted to go and how we wanted to get there. When you're looking for a great coach, you need to give us a call here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development. Take the time to enjoy that 1 hour complimentary time on the phone with us. Do some research on us. Go to www.ewfw.org. Find out who we are and how we can help you. And then ask yourself that question. Just because I can, does it mean I should? And when the answer comes back, that's when you're going to make the call. That's when you're going to send us the email. That's when you're going to know that you're going to invite us to come and work with you with your leadership. Whether they can give a seminar, to give a keynote speech, or just to work with your people on one-to-one basis. This will take you where you want to go, and it's guaranteed. Now, I see our time is coming to an end, and I hope you've enjoyed talking about this thing of what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. And what do I do? Do what I do best and farm out the rest. Great questions from the coach. And I encourage you to spend some time with those questions. Now, I see our time is running short, so on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, I want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you have received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you become a better leader. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Give us a call, 727-422-1833. Send me an email, dick@ewfw.org. Go to the website, www.ewfw.org. And here's my challenge to you. Really start to put down on a piece of paper where it is that you want to go, how you want to get there. What kind of a team do you need to build around you? Who are they? Do the research, get prepared, and then execute. Until next time, DW the Wrangler. I want to encourage you also, when you're ready for us to come out and do a seminar for you, just go ahead and give us a call. And don't hesitate. Knowing a coach is always on your side, we're here. Till next time, DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.